Good evening, everyone. It's great to see you here. Thanks for those who are tuning in tonight. I now call this regular meeting of the Board of Education on Tuesday, November 18th to order. We have a roll call, please.
Reverend Eilert.
Here.
Mrs. Jaranek.
Here.
Mrs. Mangan.
Here.
Dr. Swetchenow.
Here.
Washburn.
Here.
We're beginning right at 6 p.m. tonight. I invite you now to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Board agenda was mailed out in advance of this meeting. Any additions, corrections to the agenda as presented? The motion to approve.
So I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Jaranek.
Yes. Yes.
Mrs. Mangan.
Yes.
Dr. Swetchenow.
Yes.
Washburn.
Yes.
Reverend Eilert.
Yes. You. We have minutes that were presented for November 6th. Any additions, corrections to the minutes? We have a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Mangan.
Yes.
Dr. Swetchenow.
Yes.
Mrs. Washburn.
Yes.
Reverend Eilert.
Yes.
Mrs. Jaranek.
Yes.
You. All right. Item number 1.5, welcoming of guests. Welcome to all of those that are here tonight. Number of folks, some that we're going to introduce in just a few minutes in my board president report individually, but thank you all for being here tonight. Is there anyone here for the hearing of the public tonight?
I have none.
None. Okay. Well, then right into the board president report. Begin by welcoming Katie Shookman, our newest member of the Board of Education. Thanks for being here tonight. Congratulations. And then we've got a family here that we've been looking forward to having here for quite some time now. For a number of years now, we have regularly seen in our reports donations from the Watts family that we receive gratefully to our fund that helps to fund meals for our kids. And as we want to thank you and recognize you for your generosity this evening, one of the ways we wanted to do that was by bringing Dia Cooper up, who's our head cook here in this building. If you can come up to the microphone and just say a couple of words about the kids that they're helping with these meals.
Oh, hello. I'm pretty sure I'm loud enough, but this means the world to the kids. And one of the things I said to Mr. Collier was, I wish that you could see the looks on their face when they come through the line, because they all look at their accounts. I mean, they walk by and they look and they notice, they recognize, if they don't have. And some will say, well, I'm in debt. I can't, get this. But there's a lot of things that are said, but when they come through and they see that their account's clear, it's priceless. It really is. It's priceless. It's such a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I really wish that you had that privilege of seeing that and being as generous as you are. And it is greatly appreciated by all of us very much. I got emotional when he told me about it. And, it's just a lot when you see the kids and their feelings, and to see the change like that quick, just by knowing they don't have that burden and that worry. And then they come through the line every day and they're smiling and they're happy and they don't have any worries and they're not embarrassed, or they're not, but sometimes they don't even greet you. They just kind of go through the motions. And even no matter how comfortable we make them feel, they still have, they're just little human beings who have those feelings. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I can speak for all the kitchens and for these kids. They're amazing. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dia, for your service to our kids too. And it's clear how much they mean to you. So one of the phrases that we use at my church is generosity is contagious. It's one of the reasons we wanted to make sure we invited you here tonight because we think your generosity is contagious. Other people are inspired by the ways that you give so regularly and faithfully to help feed kids here in Loveland. And so we wanted to make sure we elevated that tonight as we encourage everyone in our district to be generous to this fund and to other funds that help kids and make a difference in their lives like we just heard about. So again, thank you so much for being here. And we want to present to you tonight a certificate of appreciation. And it reads like this: the certificate of appreciation is presented to Kevin and Celia Watts for their ongoing support of the Loveland Feed the Kids Fund in recognition of more than $10,000 in total donations. So thank you so much. We'd like to present that to you. We also want to acknowledge their family is here with them. And Gretchen teaches in the intermediate school and their daughter-in-law. And so part of their connection here and their granddaughter as well, knowing one of the kids that's part of the schools. So we really appreciate the fact that you are all here tonight in support as well. This is a night of presentations. We also want to make another presentation as we welcome Katie onto the board. That also means that Eileen Washburn is going to be no longer serving on the board soon. She's got a couple more this meeting and another one, but this was our last regular meeting of the board. So we wanted, while we were at a regular meeting, to present a certificate of appreciation to Eileen as well. For her years of service to Loveland students, 2018 to 2025. It's been a real pleasure to serve with you. We've had a lot of fun together. We've had some tough decisions to make together, and we appreciate all of the years of service that you've given to the board and all the ways that you have served kids here in our community. And so thank you for your dedication to the school board.
It's been my pleasure, and I'm not going away.
Like maybe Mike's got something to say.
Just to chime in to Ms. Washburn, thank you very much for bringing me to Loveland. You were on the initial interview process along with Dr. Swetchenow and everything that you've done to support kids in the back. I don't always see what everything a board member is doing, but I know you're extremely supportive of our kids, extremely supportive of education, and I just appreciate from the bottom of my heart everything you've done for our kids and my family too. So thank you very much. And I'll also throw out, Ms. Cooper, you did a great job of expressing all of our opinions about how thankful we are to the Watts family. So good job and thank you very much.
All right, so a few other things to talk about as well tonight. Wanted to just talk a little bit about the Capitol Conference that many of us just returned from. It's always a great opportunity to be with some of our senior leadership here at Loveland. Sitting around the table last night, an Italian restaurant, having a lot of laughs and enjoying time together I think is just as important as some of the great things that we learned there and that we find out about. The OSBA is the Ohio School Board Association, and one of the things they do is advocate for issues on behalf of all of the districts in Ohio. So I had the pleasure of being our delegate to the gathering, which sometimes can be a bit tedious, but it's important to have a legislative platform that our folks in the OSBA can then go and advocate on our behalf with our state legislature in particular. One of the planks that had was updated was related to local control. And I think that just demonstrates the importance of that work. As we've heard just in this last year, as a lot of legislative changes were being considered. One of those phrases you heard kind of being bannered around was local control. So what exactly does that mean? What are the things that matter to school boards across the state? We added some language to help them be able to articulate that to our representatives and words that all of us as school boards could agree with, at least collectively voting on that. So that was important. The other thing that took up a lot of time, and appropriately so, was discussion of expanding some of our statements of inclusion and equity. Nothing actually changed in what was already there, but there were some things that were considered, both expanding and contracting what that language might be. The more expansive one was the one that had the most support, but not the 3/4 of the assembly's support that's needed to pass it. So nothing actually changed in that plank, but that was where we spent the majority of the time in our gathering discussing things. So there are also lots of workshops and things that people went to. We had a meeting of the Alliance, which is another advocacy group that we're a part of, with like districts to ours, and had some folks talking to us about legislation that's right in front of the legislature right now that will significantly potentially change how property taxes are collected in the state of Ohio. Fortunately for us in Loveland, we're not affected by the changes that they're considering right now because of the way that we've structured our levies in the past. And so we're fortunate in that way, but there are a number of districts that could be significantly impacted. And so we remain concerned with those districts for public education overall in Ohio. So other thoughts from folks that were attending, things you want to share from your experience, any great insights or experiences from the last couple days?
I spent a lot of time on the career focused explorations for all grade levels. Thought it was a lot of interesting ideas that were brought about. So looking forward to working with a team of people, seeing what we're doing and what more we can do for the students. And also focused on student voice groups and how we can include the students on decision making. I know we do that, but just enhance it even more because they're who we're serving here and they need to have a say as well.
Yeah, similarly, I went to sessions on career exploration, so it's just good to hear from other districts what's happening as well, and just continuing, to ideate the work we're already doing here. Went to a session on AI as well, and so, and Mr. Samuels just did our community advisory team on AI, and so it was good to see where we're moving ahead, and also hear from other districts how they're using AI and how we're introducing it appropriately. And so that was very helpful. And then this morning I attended a legislative session where there was 2 House representatives and 1 senator. And, they were talking about what's coming and what, the Senate's trying to finish tomorrow and the House is trying to finish up this week. So, but they were also talking about their ideas for the future as well, and kind of looking beyond property tax, as well as, there was conversations about, how we're feeding our children and making sure that we are investing appropriately in the foundational skills of reading and math. So it was good to be talking about educational topics, not just school funding, which seems to be, stealing the limelight these days. But it was good. And it was very helpful to hear from different district types, to hear from rural districts and urban districts and suburban. So I found that just hearing the perspective across the different districts was really helpful.
I would jump in and since we've been here, I've encouraged the team to participate and to apply to speak. You do have to apply and you have to be selected. And every year we've had a group selected. Last year was Andrew and Stacy, myself. This year, Dr. Amanda Robinson did a great job talking about exclusionary discipline, which is something we deal with every single day. And she did a very good job. But sometimes it's hard to present in front of your other colleagues. So to stick your neck out there and do it's a good thing. And it's a way to grow. And if you're uncomfortable, you're growing. But Amanda did a great job. And I'll always encourage the team to apply and spread their knowledge and kind of learn coming back. I think that's a good way to give back to the educational process, but then also learn. And just hearing from other superintendents helps me quite a bit. So
I was also, just to piggyback, going to commend Amanda Robinson for putting herself out there. We all attended her session and it was well attended and very informative and interesting. And I also appreciate that she put herself out there the way that she did because it is a difficult thing to do. I attended some AI sessions and I enjoyed hearing about the policy updates that are coming in the near future, hopefully. And just a real heavy emphasis on safety and security, making sure that our kids are protected and as AI evolves and the technology evolves. And I always enjoy going to the conference to connect with other districts to hear what they're doing, get ideas on things that we can bring back home for our kids. It's a good time.
I would also say just networking and talking to friends that we typically only get to see a couple times a year is a really big portion of what the conference is. And we're able to learn from one another and learn from each other's challenges. And I really believe we have some very smart people at the helm of districts across the state. And it's definitely a way to recharge your battery a little bit as we get through the day to day, and to be able to go connect with those individuals and meet new people as well. So it was a great conference.
All right. Want to also then hear a couple of things from reports. I know the Communications Committee met right before this meeting, and Lynn's got a couple things to share from there.
Sure, sure. So from the Communications Committee, we just met before this meeting. We just had our community advisory team where Mr. Samuels presented on AI. We just also had a town hall where Mr. Espy presented on school finance. So we continue, and then we're going to be having a strategic facilities committee meeting in December. So just continuing to keep that cadence up. We have done outreach to all of our 8th graders going into high school. So making sure that our families are prepared for that transition to high school. And just continuing to look at all the touch points, talking about we're going to get going in March for kindergarten for next year. So just making sure we continue that our community members know what we're doing and how we can best support them. So that is all going really well. From a foundation perspective, you can do a save the date for March 13th is our distinguished alumni and distinguished faculty. So we had a nice number of applications for that, and we're in the process of notifying the people that are going to be receiving those awards at our event on the 13th. And staff grants went out. I think I already talked about that, but we awarded them in October, but everybody's purchased, everybody's getting whatever it was that they were awarded for their staff grant. So that's been a lot of fun to see the pictures coming in from that. And there's really a really nice variety of how we're supporting our students and our staff throughout every building. So very grateful to our community that continues to donate to the school foundation.
I was just going to chime in. It's over at the Early Childhood Center, and Megan Little had all of the grant. I don't want to say prizes, what the teachers had ordered, and the teachers were fired up to see getting it delivered, and just knowing that people support them. I know that it means a lot to them, and they were pretty excited that there was a little prize patrol they were handing out. So it's good.
You, any Live Oaks?
Yes, so with the Great Oaks, they did their recent budget hearings. That was at our recent meeting. A few of our students are on the ROJ ROTC program, and the Live Oaks Raiders team did win an all-service national championship, so congrats to them. For sophomores, just a reminder that the applications for the Great Oaks open up on November 24th, and there'll be a lottery system for students to get into the programs that they choose, and that'll come out in February. And then we have some new construction updates at Scarlet Oaks. So they are enhancing phase 1 of their health academy. So they're enhancing that program even more. So they'll be able to take additional students come the next year or so. Lots of good things happening.
We had a policy committee update, but we'll talk about that. A policy committee meeting recently, and we'll give you an update on that later when we get to those first read of those policies. Any other reports from board members? Then let's move on then to item number 2.2, administrator reports. Those were attached and read through those about things that are happening in all of our buildings, along with the teaching and learning report. And then to hear a little more about what's going on in the buildings, we want to move then to 2.3, our student representatives. Full slate of them here tonight.
Hi, my name is Lily, and I'm here to report on Loveland High School. A lot of student achievements are being recognized this month at the high school. So notably, girls volleyball made the Final Four in the state. And what that is it's an amalgamation of winning not only the ECC championship, but then going on to challenge the best D1 volleyball teams that are in Ohio. So the Final Four is really an amazing achievement for them. Additionally, boys and girls cross country qualified for state in Division II, with the boys finishing 8th and the girls finishing 22nd. A final student recognition is the marching band, which went to state finals and received a superior rating. This milestone took a lot of effort since the band had to not only qualify for a chance to perform at state, but then perform for a panel of harsh judges for a rating. They scored a 1, which is the best you can get. Finally, arts-wise, LHS Drama is putting on the production of Bye Bye Birdie November 19th through 22nd, which starts tomorrow. Tickets can be found at lhsdrama.org. That's where I was directly before coming here. I'm in the pit. So yeah, I play bassoon. So if you want to come see it, it's really fun. Academically speaking, on November 3rd, LHS hosted inductions to the National Honor Society. 114 added students brought the total up to 230 individuals in the honors program. To put that into perspective, the honors program is open for juniors and seniors. In my class alone, there's around 330 people, meaning that approximately half the senior class is contributing to the Honor Society and the other half is coming from the junior class. That's a lot of students. So we're immensely proud of their efforts to get to this point. Thank you for your time and attention to the high school. And once again, come see the play. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anna Pranya-Raps, and I'll be sharing about LIS and LMS. So academically speaking, there have been several things happening across both buildings. Teachers participated in coaching and professional development with a trainer from iReady. They work to strengthen how they use MyPath in their classrooms. This work helps teachers set goals, improve instructional practices, and personalize learning for students. LMS, ELA, and math teachers have also continued their professional development by focusing on strategies that support all types of learners. This helps students get more targeted instruction that's tailored to what they need to individually grow. There's also been some building highlights recently. LMS students put on an outstanding production of Newsies Junior, which I didn't get to go to, but I've heard it was great. They sold out 3 shows. And LIS participated in the Walk for Water tradition and raised over $8,000 to support the drilling of wells in Sudan, which is amazing. And so looking ahead, there are several important events coming up. Camp Kern for the 5th graders is coming up this week on November 20th through the 22nd. I'm actually one of the high school leaders, so I'm excited to do that. And then we have no school over Thanksgiving break on November 24th through 28th. So that's also very exciting. Thank you for your time, and that concludes my update.
Oh, get this weather out of the way.
Yeah. There's an exclamation point there.
Yeah.
Yes. Dress warm.
And a shout out to Jane Jaranek, who was in the Newsies production, did a fantastic job.
She did.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jack Myers, and I'm going to share some updates on the elementary school and primary school. Start off, all students completed their reading intervention data reviews, and and the staff is pleased with the progress that students are making and only adjusted plans for a select few. LES completed general data review meetings in the end of October, and LPS has their next round of data reviews today and tomorrow. In their first compassion project of the year, both the schools were able to collect over 3,100 pairs of socks for Socktober and delivered the socks to homeless shelters. For November's compassion project, students will be reading to support the Life Food Pantry across the street, and all donations will be given to help out local Loveland families. They are also currently collecting food items for the annual Pass It On food drive designed to directly support our tiger families. They also celebrated their monthly Terrific Tigers and have their next award ceremony on Friday. All students completed first quarter conferences earlier this month and are looking forward to Grandparents' Day coming up soon. 3rd graders completed their fall state air testing on October 21st and 22nd and serves to help students meet the 3rd grade reading guarantee. Teachers are continuing to work on requirements for gifted training, and LPS teachers participated in model lesson studies for the University of Florida Literacy Institute Phonics, observing colleagues teach and then discussing what they found. Thanksgiving break is right around the corner after this week, and the elementary school students have a field trip to the aquarium this week. We hope that all Tigers have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Kel Margraf. Before I load you guys all with just curriculum, I wanted to highlight all of the amazing creative things that are happening over at LECC. I sat down last night to write this speech after I completed all of my homework. Getting up there. And I sat down and I thought about what I remember from LECC and all those amazing things that I did there. And the first thing that struck me was the Cincinnati Inquirer and the disguised turkey that you used to do back then in LECC. And so when I sat down to write this, I looked it up and saw a couple of those amazing things and just made me really realize that as much as curriculum is important here at Loveland High School, especially at those younger ages, creativity definitely prevails. And then to load you with a little bit of curriculum here, we had our conferences that we completed first quarter on the 3rd and 4th. We offered both virtual and in-person conferences this year, which is probably a huge step. And I can only assume that's just amazing for teachers and for parents as they can really get in there if they need to, especially with availability concerns. We also had a data review as we completed our reading intervention data reviews at the end of October, giving our teams data to analyze student progress and adjust support as needed if students need that, along with our terrific Tiger Awards as we awarded those students that best demonstrated care, respect, and responsibility. The next time that will happen is on the 21st. For safety, LECC staff and students continue to complete our regular safety drills. Props to Mr. Bryant there. As we know, he does a phenomenal job with that. We had our gifted training as LECC students continue to work with connected ODE, gifted training expectations for the students that are gifted in those categories. They get those resources. We also had our iReady assessments, which I did not get to participate in years ago, but I'm glad they're doing it now, as they get to review data and determine what best practices for instructional planning for teachers. And in upcoming events, we have, as Jack said, our Grandparents and Great Influencers Day, as students get to recognize those who are a great influence in their lives. We have our kindergarten roundup. It got moved to March from January. More info on that will come out as we get closer to it. Our kindergarten registration opens the 1st of January and our preschool the 1st of December, along with our Winter Wonderland performance that is December 3rd and 4th from 6 to 7:30. If you can get there, I highly recommend. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thanks to all of our students for your reports again this evening. And in case you haven't had a chance to complete your homework for the night yet, we understand if you need to move along at this point, Mr. Broadwater won't be too
Not
offended
too
by-
disappointed.
Sorry, man, we gotta skip your
I get it. I get it.
You can find it later online.
All right, so now we move on to number 3.1, the superintendent update.
Good evening to our students. Thank you. They always do such a great job, and it reminds you of just how much goes on in the district. And before I jump in, I was going to kind of review Veterans Day, but they reminded me of so many great things that happened. And Newsies, we had talked about the play, the musical down at our middle school. It was fantastic. I mean, the kids sounded great. The set was fantastic. The kids articulated. They sang really, really well. It was really enjoyable. We were able to I stopped in when our elementary students were in there, and to see our elementary students, they look up to our middle school students who look up to our high school students, and that's the way it should be, right? So it was really, really refreshing to hear some Jersey accents out of middle school kids. It was great. And I want to point out the volleyball team. I could go over all sorts of different teams, but to make the Final Four in a volleyball in Ohio is pretty difficult. And when I went up to watch his Final Four, we played Seton, who is very, very good. We played really, really well. What I would point out is Mr. Chevalier was there, and our kids are always so positive when they're cheering, and I appreciate all of our kids being there and supporting each other. That's the fun part of high school. And the cross country, we always do so very, very well. We had a state send-off with the bus, but we also had what makes Loveland unique. We had fire trucks and police cars in front of it and the whole town saying good luck to our kids. And that's awesome. And that's what it's about. So it's been a good start. We'll keep it going. National Honor Society, I was able to pop in. We had, I think, 114 students inducted. Mr. Spencer and I got to stand up front and shake hands, and Megan Shelley, our teacher who does it all, had to arrange it all and get all the kids organized. And so kudos to her for doing that. It's a lot of work, especially when you're checking community service. So I could go on and on about staff members and what they do, but those are just some examples. And so thank you to everybody. One other thing before I jump into the Veterans Day, the board, I believe, is aware, but we did receive news that we will receive 40% of a grant for a resource coordinator, which as we move into the holidays, we'll see more and more families that are in need and need to figure out how to work through the system to make sure they get what they need for their kids. And so we're very, very excited that it was the Claremont County ESC that's helping us out, and just a big thanks to Claremont County ESC. So we can do that, and we're excited about that. Just real quick note about Veterans Day to the board. I believe you know, but this is only our second year where we've had school on Veterans Day. And I felt it was important to, if we're going to recognize veterans, it's great to do it on Veterans Day. And so having school on Veterans Day allows us to do that every single year. Since it's only been 2 years, we're going to try and just continue to make it more and more robust for our veterans. The VFW, talking to Jerry Wilson there, and the American Legion, talking to those gentlemen. We've had them in for Meet the Teams, and we've had discussions, and they're just phenomenal men that we want to make sure we stay in contact with and invite them in. But just an example of what we did throughout the district at our early childhood center. I think we have a picture up there of the sign. We had our kindergarten students that made signs, and we put them out front so our veterans could see as some of the veterans were coming in to visit. At our primary school, we had all of the students making thank you notes for the veterans, and then we'll send those out so our veterans can see our students and all the appreciation that they have. At our elementary school, if you went down Loveland Madeira Road, you would see a bunch of signs, all the words spelled correctly, and and it was thanking veterans for all they did. And I love having our students recognize it, and we're going to continue to try and make it better and better so that our military feel appreciated by the school, as they certainly are. At the intermediate school, I was able to speak a little bit in front. They have a great program where they invite veterans in of our students. So there's a lot of grandparents there, and it's I know students, when you're in middle school, you may not appreciate the fact that you have a grandparent that's there beside you, but they will in years to come. So it's a pretty cool ceremony. Julie Carter, John Hart do a great job of getting everybody organized and getting it in there. And Ms. Jernick got to participate in that as well. And yeah, it was really, really nice. And at our middle school and high school, we invite our veterans in to speak, a little bit more personal touch as you get into the older students. Talking to Chris Burke, our government teacher, he was really, really impressed with the veterans that came in and spoke. And so I think it's good for those are the students that may or may not be making decisions towards that way. So it's good that we're able to do that as well. So just a quick highlight, excuse me, of what we have done for Veterans Day. And again, we'll sit back, reassess, and if there's something we can do better, we'll continue to do that, just so that our veterans and our active military people know that we appreciate them very, very much. So
I've heard nothing but positive things.
Good.
They were very pleased. I only attended the intermediate school. I can get the words out. But just seeing comments and knowing people from the VFW and the Legion, they're very appreciative of everything we've done.
Good,
So
good. So ends my report.
All right, thank you. Moving on then to item number 4, board resolutions. 4.1, board policies first read. Said we had a meeting the other day of the policies committee, and as you can see, there are just a couple of them here. So kudos to Mr. Espy for his amazing spreadsheet that he has to kind of categorize these for us and help us to just get our heads around all of the different changes. I said it made it so much easier to go through the way that we did instead of having a pile of papers that would have taken us 3 times as long. So I think we got all of this accomplished about an hour, and large part that was due to the fact that Mr. Espy spends time in advance in helping us to facilitate our work. So thank you for that work. Are there particular ones that we want to highlight? I don't know, Eric, if you've got any, or John, things that you guys wanted to highlight from the ones that are before them, particular ones you think they should read more carefully than the others in advance of next time?
Not particularly. I mean, I don't know if you have anything to add, but I will say it's kind of a domino effect when we look at some of the policies. So some of the policies that you approved the last time we brought them, it now has language now that updates these policies. You know, the ORC changes to say motor vans, and then we've got 6 policies that have to be updated. Some are due to, some are tied to procurement, which is defined by Edgar and how which is not a person, it's a process. And it's basically for procurement for federal funds and utilizing federal funds. So we follow that process and update that. But a lot of it is just tied to ORC or legislation that's passed. A lot of it was tied to House Bill 96. You'll notice, as I talked about in October, the 5-year forecast went to a 3-year forecast, so that's all updated. Also, the types of levies that school districts can run are now updated in the policy as well, so.
Yeah, the only thing that I would add, as you can see from this, if anybody cares to dive into it, is that our new partner with Kenna Haycox and the OSBA has been really helpful at helping us to stay ahead of this and then not be left with a big mess in 3 years when we're like, we need to look at policies again. So there's definitely been money well spent to help to keep us ahead of it. And I appreciate John's work in helping to make my work easy.
I appreciate that. And I will say it's very different from our prior partner for policy, where that's typically updated in one big lump sum annually. Like this is done at least quarterly, and maybe even more so. So it's great to work with them. And it's great the process is easy for me to follow. It's not always fast, a fast process, but it's an easy to follow process on their end. So I just want to appreciate OSBA.
All right, so this is just first read. There's no action that we need to take. We'll take that action at our next meeting. There's something else I was gonna say, but I can. Oh, if anyone can figure out why they're motor vans and not just vans, we're clueless. So, you know, it's your assignment before we approve these, why it's motor vans. Interesting
The
distinction.
district does not have any vans with no motors. so
Yeah, that's right,
they're-
yeah.
they're all motor vans.
For the
Say,
record.
as opposed to those pedal vans.
Exactly. Next item is 4.2, again, a first read to look at a request for a new book, Born a Crime book. And there's a description, a thorough description of that in your board report. And one of the things that was pointed out to us that is important to note is that this is the young reader version of that. If someone grabs the full version for adults on the shelf, you're going to see language that you might not find appropriate for kids in 10th grade. This is not what they'll be reading. It's the one that's been edited to be appropriate for them. And it's a fascinating, I would really encourage you to make sure you read through that whole thing. It's just fascinating to see all the different themes that are highlighted and how those connect to other things that kids are reading, to help us think about why this is an important book to include in the curriculum for our kids in 10th grade. So encourage you to do that for next time when we will approve that, or we'll consider it anyway for approval after this first read. All right, moving on to item number 5, Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources. Mr. Collier.
Good evening, everybody. As always, thank you for the opportunity to be before you. There are a couple of things that I want to make sure to note. We have a late addition in section A. It's A5 is in yellow, and in E4. There were two pieces today actually that were placed on there. And then I want to make sure to draw your attention to A1 and A2 because we have two staff members that are retiring. Debbie Reardon, who started here as a secretary at the middle school, and then most recently has had her time working down in the treasurer's department in Mr. Espy's office. Her retirement is coming up here at the end of this particular year. She has worked in schools for a number of years, and we just want to make sure to thank her for her service to our district and to other districts that she's worked in. And then A2, we have a high school guidance counselor, Jamie Gordon. I'm sure if you spend any time here in Loveland, whether it's in the schools or in the community, the name Jamie Gordon rings a bell to you. She has worked here in the district for over 30 years, most recently as a counselor at the high school. And not only with her work with students, day to day, but also one of the things that she always takes on every year is putting together graduation. And the amount of work that it takes to make graduation run smoothly, if you've never been around it, you should take a look because it's a lot of work and she's a master at it. So congratulations to Jamie and to Debbie, and just wanted to make sure to highlight their service.
Yes. I see that she's staying through much of August, which is very nice for high school counselors. Having
Yeah,
everything ready for the first.
yeah, there's just a little bit of time that she's going to be with us just previous to it's in the quote next school year, but just before school's going to start,
Yeah.
which is going to be nice with helping with a transition with somebody, coming to us new. So we're going to appreciate that time and everything that she's done for this, basically the whole community and any student who has gone through the high school.
Garth, if I jump in just to say congratulations to Debbie, who has been a vital part of the Treasury Department. We will certainly hope she has a great retirement. Jamie Gordon, get to know her. Graduation is a well-oiled machine, and she does a great job with it. But more importantly, Jamie is one of those institutional staff members that does so much more than you really know, and is kind of a glue to everything we do. And I've tried to talk her out of it. I can't do it. So I think she's looking forward to her daughter, and they do a lot with the horse racing and horse riding, but she is going to be virtually impossible to replace when it comes to a counselor for all that she has done over the years. So thank you to Jamie and Debbie.
The only other thing to note is to make sure that I like to put a plug into, you see all of these things that you guys approve, but making sure to realize that the FTE chart is attached as it is every month with changes in staffing. And of course, there are notes there to try to keep track of what things are and when those happen as well.
Excellent. Garth, just one quick question, just as I looked at it in more detail, sorry I didn't do that earlier, is the number 4 in A is leave of absence of someone who's employed as a bus driver, and it just is for 12 days. Is that?
Yes. So anytime that there's a classified employee, unpaid leave is a part of their contract. So if there's some sort of a reason that they need to be away from work, and it isn't necessarily something that is quote sick leave, they're allowed to apply for unpaid leave. So this is just specific to her situation for some time that she needed to take. And that leave of absence, for your guys' information, is an unpaid leave of absence.
Any other questions for Mr. Collier? We have a motion to approve the resolutions of the Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources for resignations, employment, certified, classified, homebound, substitute, and supplemental positions for the 25-26 school year.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Swetchnow?
Yes.
Mrs. Washburn?
Yes.
Reverend Eiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Jarenick?
Yes.
Mrs. Mangan?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Collier.
You're welcome. Mrs. Washburn, now that I have the microphone, I would like to take just 30 seconds just to thank you for everything that you've done. It's been awesome knowing you. I know that you're not going anywhere, and you still have one of your children still here. But it's been nice, of course, getting to know you, and thank you for all of your service to the district. You're going to be missed. You're welcome.
All right, thank you. Moving on then to 6.1, our October financial reports. Mr. Espy.
Thank you, Reverend Eilert, members of the board. I am happy to turn things over to one of my finance interns, Zach Chevalier. He has been working along with 4 other interns in my office. And it's really been great to get to know the students, but also to hear about what their goals are and what they're looking forward to doing, but also be able to provide some educational experiences for them as well, one of which is going to be delivering to you the financial report. And we're also going to talk about a little field trip we got to go on a few weeks ago. So I'll turn it over to Zach, and I just want to say again, thank you for allowing this program with not only Tigers Inc., but also all the great learning that's going on at the high school.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Zach Chevalier. I'm a senior right now at Loveland, and I'm, as he said, one of his finance interns. I'll be walking you all through the financial report for October. All right, so we're a third of the way through the fiscal year right now, 4 months. And for October, our forecast was only 0.1% off, which means that Mr. Espy is 99.9% accurate, mostly due to our work as the finance interns, of course. Mostly due to the great work from the finance interns, of course. But for our expenditures, we spent 0.5% more than expected in October, which is mostly due to the timing of purchases of curriculum and textbooks, because all those expenses are front loaded towards the beginning of the year, obviously, at the fall. Also, the lighting project at the high school is going on, but those replacements of lights will actually decrease our utilities expenses in the future because they're more efficient. As for our revenues, we're doing very well in interest revenue right now, because most of our older investments from around 3 to 5 years ago, when rates were very, very low, are maturing. So we're getting out of those positions and reinvesting into higher yield, more premium investments. And they're now becoming the majority of our portfolio. We're also continuing the approach to let our money work for us as much as we can by just simply leaving our investments in until right before we need to take that cash out for expenses like payroll. We're giving those investments more time to accrue interest. So it's just a marginal increase in revenue, but over time that adds up, and those marginal increases can pay for teacher salaries. Just a little fun fact, last year's income from interest at this point in the fiscal year was $219,375. This year, right now, it's $572,548. So 161% higher than last year in terms of interest revenue at this point, which is huge. And it really just shows how much better off we are now that we're getting out of those positions from the COVID era when rates were historically low. And kind of segueing off the investment talk, big thank you to the Red Tree Investment Group. We had a great little field trip over there, and we got to meet the CEO, which is awesome, and also have a Q&A with one of their financial analysts, that's the word. And we got to learn some of the strategies they use, as well as how the Bloomberg terminals are used, which is very interesting because you don't really get to see that at all. They're very rare for students to actually get access to. Yeah, very interesting experience. And now Mr. Espy can take you through our actual portfolio with Red Tree.
Yes, so I just want to give, again, a shout out to Red Tree. They really treated us for the half day that we were there. And really, it comes down to kind of following what the Tigers Inc. mission is, which is learning by experience from experience. And I really felt that the Q&A with Ryan, the CEO, was huge. And it was awesome to hear the depth of the questions that the students were asking. They were not surface level questions. They were in the weeds. It was really, really cool. As we look at the investment analysis, as Zach talked about, interest rates are lower than they were last year at this time. However, we're getting out of those lower yielding investments. We've really been focusing on keeping most of our funds in Star, Ohio, which is where the state deposits are bi-monthly payments. as well as when we get property tax advances, that's where that goes. We're leaving it there simply because as we're evaluating the benchmark interest rates, we don't want to tie ourselves into other long-term investments right now with the uncertainty. So we're continuing to monitor that. I was actually able to discuss with our advisor at the OSBA conference what we're going to continue to do. But you'll see the bulk of it is still sitting in Star, Ohio, and then we have positions within the other areas as well. It's important to note that Star, Ohio is a pool of funds, and it's a government fund that's run by the state that's in basically all the other types of funds that we're already in. So it's a little bit more convenient to leave it there. Plus, we don't have to pay any management fees by keeping it there. So we're actually saving a little bit. When we look at ongoing projects going on in my office right now, we actually had Kay Pierce retire on 11/5 as well, and that was something that we all knew was going on. But with her exiting, the first payroll that our payroll team is running included the fall supplemental pay, which is 159 additional employees. So definitely a little bit of coming in right on the hot seat for that. So I was able to help them through that process. We're also continuing to work on our database cleanup, and that's really what that means is inactivating old positions. We've standardized every position number. So if you work a certain job, it's a certain number now. So that allows us to really drill in and have clean data that I can run reports on that's meaningful for me. We're also continuing to work on the onboarding process and our department communication of how that works. Just give a shout out to Garth and his team as we continue to refine that and make sure that our onboarding process lives up to the level of the education that teachers are providing our students. And it's really what I always say we're chasing them in terms of their ability to do their jobs. Also working on training opportunities, was able to connect with Nina, our head secretary, and we've developed what our PD is going to look like for March for our secretaries, which is going to be a very good process to continue on with their professional development and making sure that we're providing the support that they need. We're also wrapping up our audit, so that should be done here shortly. One thing we're doing is we're doing the annual financial comprehensive report. So it's it's actually a deeper dive into our audit this year. And it allows us to, assuming we have a clean audit, qualify for the Auditor of State Award with distinction. So that's been a lot of work. We have what's called stat tables in there, and it has taken months of time from people in my office that have been working to compile all that. So I just want to say thank you for all that. November is a month of giving thanks, so I want to thank a few people here. I want to thank the board for all of your support. I want to thank Eileen. You, like Mike said, from my family to you, we want to say thank you because you brought me here as a board member, and I want to say thank you to everything that you've done. I also want to thank Mike, but going along the same vein of the board, it can be very lonely in these positions sometimes because some of the decisions are difficult. Actually, a lot of them are. And it's a thankless position. And I just want to say thank you to everyone, including Mike, our board office administrators and staff. Specifically, I want to recognize the treasurer's office team. We've been working really, really hard lately to develop our processes and develop redundancies. I'm proud to say we have 3 people with treasurer's licenses in my office, which is unheard of. And we have all 5 people can run payroll, which is also ridiculously unheard of in treasurer's offices. So that redundancy is really important. I also want to recognize Debbie and Kay as they start to look forward to the next chapter for them. I've texted Kay a couple times and I said, I hope you're on a beach somewhere. So continue to hope that that's the case. And lastly, I just want to thank the entire school community and Loveland community. It's a partnership and it's something that I don't take lightly. You know, my job here and what I do, I want you all to know that, you know, I'm working as much as I possibly can to make sure that we're doing right by our community and by our taxpayers, but also looking forward to educating our students now, the students in 5 years, the students in 10 years, and so on and so forth. So just want to say thank you to everyone, and that's it. Any questions?
All right, well, thank you for your report. Zach, thank you for leading us through the beginning of that. Fine job doing that. Actually sound like you know what you're talking about. Very impressive, very impressive. I did not have that level of knowledge of finance when I was your age. So
Zach, I did notice a lot of quarter zips at the meeting. Is that the way it goes? A lot of quarter zips?
It is the dress code.
Yeah. We need a motion then to accept and approve the financial reports for October 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Washburn,
Yes.
Reverend Eilert,
Yes.
Mrs. Jernick,
Yes.
Mrs. Mangan.
Yes.
Dr. Swetchner.
Yes.
You. Item 6.2, Ohio Deferred Compensation Resolution.
Yes, so this is just a resolution allowing us to add this 457 Roth account, which is a post-tax retirement account. We currently allow 457s, but not 457 Roth accounts. So I've had a couple staff members that have asked about this, connected with Ohio Deferred Comp, and this is just to allow that to be added to our types of retirement funds.
Seems like a lot of nonprofits are catching up with the Roths these days. Adding
I think so, just diversification.
Yeah.
Some people want to have the pre-tax and the post-tax, just for tax diversification when they do retire.
Questions about that? Motion to accept and approve the Ohio Deferred Compensation Resolution regarding 457 Roth accounts as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Reverend Eilert,
Yes.
Mrs. Jernick,
Yes.
Mrs. Mangan,
Yes.
Dr. Swetchnow.
Yes.
Mrs. Washburn.
Yes.
I do would like to point out too, that is an employer, or that's an employee side deduction. So an employee would choose to do this. This is nothing that the board is contributing.
Right. Okay, number 6.3, pilot. Few more students to approve, correct?
Yes. Had a large batch come in right after the last meeting, so it goes.
Yeah. Is there a motion to approve this declaration?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Jernick,
Yes.
Mrs. Mangan,
Yes.
Dr. Swetchnow,
Yes.
Mrs. Washburn.
Yes.
Reverend Eilert.
Yes. Thank you. And item 6.4, the resolution to file a modified tax budget for 26-27.
Yes, this is required by Hamilton County that allows us to file this type of a modified tax budget, which is basically just taking our 5-year forecast and converting it into a calendar year because that's how property taxes are collected and also calculated on.
Questions? We have a motion to approve the resolution as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Mangan,
Yes.
Dr. Swetchnow.
Yes.
Mrs. Washburn.
Yes.
Reverend Eilert.
Yes.
Mrs. Jernick.
Yes.
You. Then we move on to 6.5, donations. We once again say thank you to the Watts family for their continuous donations. And a couple more there as well from the Teresa Locke for the Feed the Kids Fund, the same fund, and from Art Jarvis for LHS Esports. We have a motion to accept these donations.
So moved.
And second.
Roll call, please.
Dr. Swetchnow.
Yes.
Mrs. Washburn.
Yes.
Reverend Eilert.
Yes.
Mrs. Jernick.
Yes.
Mrs. Mangan.
Yes.
Excellent. Thanks again to everyone in our community that supports the school so generously in many different ways for many different important programs that are helping our kids. All right. I believe that ends then the treasurer's report. So the next item that is on our agenda is an executive session. We will be going into an executive session to consider the purchase of property for public purposes. And I'd like to invite Mrs. Shookman into our executive session since she's here and as she gets up to speed to the things that we're looking at right now. Do that for this executive session. We have a motion to enter into an executive session.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Washburn,
Yes.
Reverend Eiler,
Yes.
Mrs. Jarnick.
Yeah.
Mrs. Mangan,
Yes.
Dr. Swetchino.
Yes.
Thank you. So we are officially in executive session beginning at 7 p.m. Ready? All right. We need a motion to come out of executive session.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Reverend Eiler,
Yes.
Mrs. Jarnick.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Sorry.
Mrs. Mangan,
Yes.
Dr. Swetchino.
Yeah.
Mrs. Washburn.
Yes.
All right, so we are officially out of executive session at 7:34 p.m. Back to our regular meeting. There was no action to be taken out of our executive session for tonight. So we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned at 7:35 p.m.